Hey guys, how are you? And welcome back to my channel. On today's video, I decided to do something different, and this is maybe a setup that will work better for my lighting because I've been struggling with my lighting so much. And today is going to be a video that you guys always love, and this is going to be a project progress. I'm behind because today is the 24th. I was supposed to film this or post this on the 16th or 17th of this month, but who cares? I'm here now and I've been using the products that I'm going to show you for the past month and a little bit longer. So if you want to see the products that I chose for this month, sort of a shop my stash, and the products that I use this past shop my stash, and my reviews and thoughts on whether I'm going to keep them or not, then just keep on watching. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to show you is eyeshadow palettes, and this is one that I used. I didn't use it as much as I should have because this month I went on a trip, didn't take this with me because it's huge, and I took a palette that wasn't even in my project progress, but this palette is so beautiful. Every time I want to do a different look, or I wanted to do a different look, I was using this palette. In the past 2 or 3 videos, I was actually using this palette, if I'm not mistaken. And I used these one a ton. These reddish tones are so beautiful. The part that I don't use as much is just the greens, but I've used them, a few of them, and I love them. I love the shimmery shades on this palette. I think it works better when you prime them because if not, they won't be as long lasting on the eyes as other eyeshadows because they have sort of a buttery feel to them that if you don't make them stick to your lid, they may smudge a little bit, but they're just stunning. And I'm talking about the shimmery shadows. The matte shadows work perfectly fine. They both do, but they have sort of these, you need to prime to get the best of them. Not even the pigmentation, but just the staying power within them. This is the Boss Mood by Morphe, and this one I want to keep in my collection and I want to reach for it way more. It's a colorful and playful palette without being too much. I also have my NARS singles and duos, and this one was definitely my favorite. This is Outer Limits, and I use this one a ton. You can see how reflective it is. I love this eyeshadow. I think I will just keep it in my everyday drawer because I pull it from time to time and just use it as a shimmery top, or I build it and it makes just a clear, sort of a without base, shimmery eyeshadow. I love that look. It looks so simple but stunning, and it's just my style of eyeshadow. This one I also used on myself and on my kit, and this is New York, and I really like it, and it's one of the best single shadows that I use. I have to be honest, I'm not that into single shadows, so I shouldn't have purchased it, but that was a panic purchase for me, and you can see my panic purchase video. But it's a color that I know I can get a lot of use out of. This one, I used it a couple times, about 4 times I used it for a complete eye look. I love this formula, but Isolde or Isolde, it's a better duo. If you're gonna grab a duo, that one is a must-have. It's just extremely buttery and pigmented. This is pigmented, but not even half of what Isolde is. And this is a good duo to have for a trip. When I go on trips, and work trips are the thing that I do the most, I always do the same look for all of the days that I'm working. Mostly if I'm doing personal shopping. If I'm teaching, then I would switch my eye look because I love to look different and I'm surrounded by people. But when I'm doing personal shopping in other countries, all I do is I repeat the same look. I'm doing it just for me and I'm doing something that's super quick, and this duo works for that. This one I didn't reach for not even once, so this is gonna be on sale. I'm gonna just sell it, get my money back, and since I'm eyeing a product that is gonna be my first purchase for my no buy year, then if I can sell a few of my palettes that I'm not using and just get the money for the palette that I want, that would be awesome, because my goal is not even to not buy, is to not spend money. The next palette that I have to show you is the NARS Loaded palette. And this palette is a stunner of a palette, but I found that I didn't love it as much as I did the last time I put it in a project progress. This is a boring palette, and I'm sort of a boring palette type of gal. I truly love palettes like this, like neutral palettes, like everyday palettes. These are my go-to because realistically, that's what I do every day. And if a palette has orangey tones, I'm even more that girl than anything. So yeah, I do smoky eyes, brown, eyeshadow. Orangey tones are my everyday tones. And this color I loved. This one I was about to hit pan by my cat. She was playing on my desk and she knocked it over. So I had to repress these two eyeshadows that were broken so I don't have pan in that one anymore. I used it and I will keep using it. I will keep it in my collection, but it's just something about it that doesn't call me as much as it used to. So I'm gonna try and get a lot of use out of it, but it's not my favorite anymore in a way. This one was sort of a disappointment because the pigmentation is just not as I remember it. But I know that when you love makeup and you try a lot of makeup, you keep growing and your taste in makeup and the things that you're looking for in your makeup change constantly. But sometimes you find a formula that just works for you. For me, that's Natasha Denona and more than anything, Anastasia Beverly Hills. Every single palette that I have from Anastasia, every single palette, even the Norvina palette. I think the only one that I don't have pan on yet is Sultry because it's a new palette. But the rest of them, I've hit pan in a couple shadows at least. And this is the Too Faced Sweet Peach palette. And you can see that I made my pans bigger. I used a lot of these shades. I used them on clients as well. And these, I'm about to hit pan on this one. But it's just not a palette that I love as much as I used to do. The formula is not perfection. I'm thinking about decluttering it, but maybe I will want to play with it way more. But maybe just putting it on my kit will make me use it way more because guys, I need to make it so that the money that I invest in a product, I get it back from it. And maybe putting these two palettes that are just boring me, that have a couple shades that I can use on a lot of people, like these browns right here. This peachy shade is something that I would reach for a ton of my kit. These three shades, this is a good inner corner highlight, setting powders for the primer, and then if I want to do sort of a pop of color, then I have a pop of color there. So this palette can be permanently on my kit for me to use it more, but it's just something that I know now that if it wasn't in my collection, knowing what I know now, I wouldn't purchase it. And it's eye-opening to see how things or taste changes when the years pass or when the months pass, and some things stay forever the same, like the taste for the Anastasia and Natasha Denona shadow. Okay, now we go into bronzers. And the first bronzer that I'm gonna mention, I didn't use once, and it's the Guerlain bronzer. I don't even know where it is, but I know I have to pull it back out because I sort of destroyed the mesh that came on top to use it more, and then I don't know where it went. And I'm not gonna pass it on with the mesh destroyed, so I'm gonna just pull it back out and try and use it up. Even if it's on my body, I need to just get rid of it and remove it from my collection because it's not something that I would repurchase. I don't like loose powder sort of bronzers, so that's gonna be gone. The rest of the bronzers, I used them not as much as I should have because I have my Project Pan bronzer, which is the Becca powder, and that one is the one that I've basically been using every day. This is a shimmery bronzer and I used it a couple times. This is so beautiful and it looks beautiful as an eyeshadow, but I'm not a shimmery bronzer type of person. So the shimmery bronzers that I already have are the ones that I'm gonna keep in my collection. For any reason I finish them all, then I will make my best to just have one or two with different tones, and that would be it because I'm a matte bronzer type of person. Shimmery bronzers are just not my thing, not for every day. It's not realistic for me to just keep buying them. But this is a nice one. If you love them, I would highly recommend them. This looks beautiful as a bronzy blush and as an eyeshadow. The Kevyn Aucoin Neo Bronzer, this is in the shade Sienna. And you can see that this has a highlight, a blush, and a bronzer. These you can mix together and get a sun-kissed look. and that's what I did a couple times. I don't find that this is the easiest product to blend on your skin, but when you blend it, it looks beautiful on your cheeks. I don't reach for it. I don't reach for it as much as I should. I'm gonna leave it in my everyday drawer, even though it's not gonna be in my project progress, just to see if I reach for it this month. And if not, then I'll maybe sell it, because this was brand new when the project progress started. And I truly don't want to have products that I don't use in my collection. I prefer to sell them and get something that I would love. This is another bronzer, and this is the Seaside Bronzer by NARS, and it's actually a beautiful bronzer. The only reason why I didn't reach for it as much, it was just because I have the Becca bronzer from my project pan. But this bronzer is the one that I'm wearing today. I truly love it. I have a cream bronzer underneath because that has been my preference lately, to just use less powder and more of a cream, and then I barely have to do anything with my powder. But this bronzer, in contrast with the other NARS formula, even though I prefer the other one, if you go through bronzer super quickly, this formula doesn't let you waste product while still giving you a pigmented bronzer look. So you won't go through it as quickly. If you love NARS Laguna, they have Laguna. If you love sort of the Becca Bali Sands, Seaside is sort of a similar shade. I still prefer the other NARS formula because I prefer a more powdery bronzer, but this is a good one, and I think this is gonna be the next one that I go through in my project pan. So again, this is NARS Seaside, and the only reason why I didn't finish it was because I have the Becca bronzer in my project pan. It was the bronzer of the ones that I have on my project progress that I reach for the most. For highlighters, I'm gonna show you my favorite. It was Becca Dreamsicle, and this highlighter is just something that I have nothing like it in my collection, and I can't say that about most of my highlighters. This is so different, so beautiful. I think Becca should have made this a permanent item. It's just a stunner. You can use it as a blush topper, you can use it as an eyeshadow, you can just do the Natasha Denona dewy look with this product and mix it with other blushes. It's just beautiful. This is one of the products that I showed on my Natasha Denona duping the vibes of the In Bloom palette, or the Bloom palette, the cheek palette by Natasha Denona. I'm gonna leave that link to below or someplace on the screen so that you can see this on my cheek. But it's just a beautiful formula, and it works amazingly on the cheeks. And if you want to use it as a body highlighter, it's just a stunner, and the color is just perfect for summer. Or if you are darker than me, because I'm not that dark, I'm basically fair to light. Sometimes I get to be medium when I'm self-tan, but I'm mostly light. These works as a blush beautifully on my face. So yeah, I would highly recommend this. This is a must-have. If you have it in your collection and you're not using it, take it out and just use it. Top highlighters. Again, Snow Bunny. I've told you guys before that I went through one full size of this product, and now I'm using this one. This was one that I basically use almost every day. Even if I use my Dreamsicle, I use this. This is just something that I love the way it looks. If you want to have a pinkier tone of a highlighter, if you want a bronzier tone, you can even use it as a bronzer. If you focus a lot on the strip that's brown, it can be a beautiful glowy bronzer for lighter skin tones. I would highly recommend that if you can find it, use it, or if you have it in your collection and it's a forgotten item, use it. It's just so beautiful, and it's so underrated. It's underrated for sure. Another highlighter that I have is the Bobbi Brown. This was a limited edition shimmer brick in the shade Copper Diamond. These I also use to make my blushes glowy. I'm gonna see if I can sell these because I truly don't want it in my collection. Not because it doesn't work, but because I have a ton of products that work better than it. If not, I will just put it on my kit and use it with every blush to make it glowy, and that would be it. But I'm gonna try and sell this one because I never reach for it, and even though I used it on my project progress, it's not something that I want to make myself reach for it. It's not something that I naturally want to use, so I'm gonna see if I can sell this one. And then last but not least, this is my Laura Mercier Indiscretion, And for some reason, I was thinking that these wouldn't suit my skin tone when applied to my cheeks, because you can see that it looks a little bit darker. But when you blend it, it gives you just a glow and it doesn't look dark on the skin. It looks just stunning. I fell back in love with this formula. It's just so beautiful. It's just a stunning product. So these, I know I will reach for more, even when I'm planning to pack something on my kids. I wish that Laura Mercier would change her packaging, because this is so bulky for the size of the highlighter. So just this size is the highlighter, and you can see that the top part is just way more bulky than it should be. But I appreciate the product. It's just so perfect. And I bought this when it was limited edition, and now they have a ton of shades. So if you are looking into new highlighters, this formula rocks. I'm gonna leave everything linked below. For blushes, I have the first one right here, and it's Sin, and I used it a ton. This is the first time that I go as crazy with this blush as I did. Maybe you can see the brush strokes in the center. It looks beautiful. It just looks like you have been kissed by snow. It's just the best way to describe it. And it's a color that it looks wintry, but you can use all throughout the year. It's a completely different color than what I have. It's sort of a berry with a goldish tone, so it's a cool tone with a hint of warmth. It's just perfect. I really love this blush. It's, like I said, just different from everything I own. You can see it right here. The way it has a sheen, but it's a purplish berry tone. And it blends beautifully on the skin. It just makes you look snow-kissed. I'm thinking about all the NARS blushes that I have that are broken like this, to just depot them. Let me know if you guys think that's a good idea, because I don't want to do it and then regret it. But just let me know. And if you like to see that on a video, I will definitely film it. I used almost every blush a ton. This was a favorite, definitely. And this was part of my panic purchase. And this is a video by Urban Decay. It's just one of those blushes that looks a lot like Matte, but it has sort of a pinkier tone. And these are my type of blushes. These are the blushes that I can go to every day and never be tired of them. So yeah, this was a success on this Project Progress, and I know I will reach for it. I don't even need to put it in a Project Progress in a way to use it. It's just that since I have a Project Progress, I tend to just focus on the products that I choose for it and use them the most that I can during the period that I have them, which is basically a month. But this is a product that I truly love, and it can be a top blush in my collection quickly. It's just something that the formula is nice, the color is perfect for every day, and the boring type of blushes and the boring type of makeup is the realistic type of makeup that I can have a lot of, and I will go through it. I know myself, and I will go through it. So Video is one of those products that I will never regret having in my collection, because it's something that even when it's a blush, I can go through it. Now I have these two gems, and these are so cheap, so affordable, and they are like high-end products. They are just stunning, and they stole my heart. Top formula. If they come up with a ton more, I know people will love them. I won't buy any of them because I have a ton of blush, but these are just so good. These are the Essence Satin Blushes. And maybe in the camera you can't tell, but one is pinkier and the other one is orangey, a little bit more orangey. And I thought that this one was gonna be a dupe for Video, but it's different. And Video is matte, and these truly are satin blushes. They have sort of a glow within them. Now when you apply them on your skin, you look sort of like you sweat it out a little bit, but it doesn't have a highlighter in them. It's just a glow from within. These are so good, so good. They last all day on the cheeks. You can even buy these for your daughter if you have one and she's starting out with makeup. It's just a product that's affordable and performs better than a lot of high-end products that I have. It's beautiful. I have the two shades, Satin Love and Satin Coral, and they're perfection. These are products that, again, I won't regret having in my collection. They're so good, so tiny. I took them with me when I traveled. I used them, I think, the most out of every blush that I put on this Project Progress. These are just gems. Top blushes in my collection now. Last but not least, this is a product that I wanted to show some love to it. This is a product that is old. It used to be a favorite from that girl Shay, and I purchased it, but it's just a color. I was so into pink at that time, and now I haven't been into pink for a while. And even though I can go back and forth, pink is not something that I use every day. So these I'm gonna try to sell. It's basically brand new. This is the Lorac Bake Matte Blush in Flaunt, and it's just a stunning blush, but it's something that I don't reach for. It's a hot pink with a sheen, and it's beautiful. I've truly been wanting to love it and to use it, but I don't, and I don't want it to go to waste in my collection. For foundation, it was sort of a struggle because none of them match me, except for the Forever foundation when I was self-tan at the beginning of the month. But that doesn't last as long, and I don't self-tan. If my self-tan is going away, I will wait basically a month, and I will do it sometimes once a month, and my self-tan will last for a week. So it's something that I used for a week, and then it was too dark on me. But I truly love this formula. So every time I self-tan, I will pull it back out until I finish it. And I can't find this on the Sephora website or the Dior website. They have other Forever foundations, but I think they discontinued this one. Let me know in the comments below if you know anything about that. The Wet n Wild one, it's already gone. You can see that I scraped it. It has nothing left. This foundation, it's amazing. It's just that the color, it's a little bit off on me. It was the one that was closest to my skin color, and this is bronze beige from the 3 that I chose, but it was still like 2 tones darker than me. It was just a struggle to highlight it so much, but I did my best and finished it up. And it's a good thing for me to finish foundation because I have so many. And then the NARS Barcelona foundation, I used this once when I was self-tanned, but it looks a little bit more pinky than I would like. So I mixed it with the Dior, and it removed the yellowy tones from my Dior a little bit more than I would have liked. So I've been just using these as cream bronzer. I love it when I use it like that, and it's just the way that I'm gonna try and use it. I'm gonna put it on my kit a ton to see if I can just use it as a bronzer on my kit until I finish it. You guys know that I'm working on my foundations. So yeah, that's the story with my foundations, but basically it was a success because I found a use for each of them. Even though they weren't exactly my color match, I used them throughout the month. And then for the powders, I chose 2, and I'm happy to say that I finished them both. And this is gonna be a spoiler for my project pan and for my empties. So the first one that I finished is Dim Light, and you can see right here that it's completely gone. I'm happy that I finished it. I'm not gonna repurchase. I prefer to have now on my kit and for my personal kit Radiant Light for when I'm darker or for my clients, and Diffuse Light, which is yellowy but light, and that way I can have both sides of the spectrum. But Dim Light has sort of a pink tone to it, and it would sometimes change my foundation a little bit. And it was the first powder, the first ambient lighting powder that I fell in love with until I found Radiant Light. This was my go-to. So I needed just to finish it, and I'm happy that I found it because these made me buy the rest of the ambient lighting powders. And the ambient lighting powders in general, blushes, bronzers, and everything, it's a formula that is like nothing else in the market. So yeah, this is a product that I would highly recommend. Just find your shade and you'll be good for a perfect buffed makeup. So Dim Light is gone. And then Peach Perfect, I'm sorry to see this go. This was one of the top powders that I had in my collection. I'm not gonna repurchase any now. I've been just trying to go through them, and I know that I will finish most of my translucent powders this year, and then I will get to buy a few because like I've said before, even though I'm in a no buy, I love to switch things up. So within the budget of my next year, or within the rules of the project that I do next year, I will buy a few powders just to go in between them, but they all have to be powders that I love. And this is one of the powders that I basically fell in love with. I adore this. I think this is a great powder for oily skin. I love the scent. I love the way it looks. If you're too light, this has a peachy tone that can sort of change your skin tone a little bit, or your foundation color a little bit. And I'm happy to announce that they released 2 or 3 colors. So they're working on being so inclusive that if you have a darker skin tone, you can use this and enjoy this formula. And trust me, if you have oily skin, you will enjoy this for sure. So now I'm gonna go into the products that I chose for this month. If you're still there, just put a little thumbs up in the comments below, and that way I know that you stay throughout the entire video. Okay, so I'm gonna start with palettes, eyeshadow palettes. And the ones that I chose are super exciting because they are all palettes that I adore, and they're formulas that I adore, and they're super expensive and I need to work on them. The one that's not extremely expensive, but it's still a high-end palette and I haven't been using lately, is the Tartelette Toasted Palette. And you know that I keep pan on this shade. I love this shade. And it's the transition that I'm wearing today. And this is just a palette that calls my name. It's just, these are just colors that I gravitate towards, and the scent is just chocolatey and perfect. One palette, I think it was on my last project progress or the one before that, and it's gonna come as no surprise. I just wanna use it more. I miss it, and that tells you how much I love it. And it's the Natasha Denona Gold palette. When I got it, I couldn't not use it. It was just something that I would reach for and reach for. And since Hannah Louise got it and I saw her using it, I've been just like, oh my god, I want to use mine again and again and again. It was a palette that I used throughout that project progress the most, and I just miss it. So why not pull it back out? Those are the type of palettes that I want to have in my collection. Palettes that I want to use, and this is gonna be back in my project progress, and I couldn't be happier. Then, since this palette I love, it has been a long time since I used it, I decided to pull it back out, and this is the Sunset palette by Natasha Denona. A beautiful palette, and this is the first formula that they released, which I hear is the best one. And it's the one that I'm wearing today. I'm wearing this yellow, this brown, and this color right here on top of everything. I'm wearing these as an inner corner highlight, and I find this to be a beautiful palette, but I would love for it to have more transitions. That's why the Tartelette in Bloom and the Gold palette are on this project progress, because this palette by itself, I think that it's missing a lot of transition shades, and I love transition shades. Those are my favorite and my most used shades, to be honest. This is my Natasha Denona Green Brown palette, and I wanted to have something colorful, but something that it's everyday as well. And you can see right here that these 2 rows are for everyday. And then the center part is more greenish. I love having colors to play with, and green is my least used color, but we have here a few greens, like the center row, that I would truly use, or this one and this one. These other 4 are the ones that I would use the least. But after using the Prism palette and the green on that palette and loving it, I think I will use it more. Even if I have brights, this is a palette that I always reach for, because these shades right here perform beautifully on the eyes, and they're bridal sort of shades. Last but not least, I have my Aries palette by Natasha Denona. This was a holiday palette. This color is about to just fall off because it's drying out a little bit, and that's one of the reasons why I wanna just use this, because this is one of my favorite shades in my entire collection. It's just beautiful. It's still performing perfectly, but it's drying on the edges. And the rest of the colors I love. This blue is just goals. It's perfection. So I truly wanna just use this palette more. This is my favorite of the 2. I have them both, the Hoya and the Aries, and I just wanna reach for it more. And I love that it has a pop-up blue that I can mix with the greens or with the gold and play with it a little bit more. And I want to make use out of my expensive palette because, for example, ABH eyeshadows, I don't even have to put them in a project progress to pan them. So that tells you something. And even though Natasha Denona and ABH are my favorite formulas, I tend to just not use my Natasha Denona as much because I have a ton of palettes and because I find them to be expensive, so I want to treasure them. And I found, and this hits me time after time, that the most expensive products in your collection, the way to treasure them is to use them because they're money that you invested. So that's why I wanted to put a lot of Natasha Denona palettes on my project. For translucent powders, I just chose one, and it's gonna be the Makeup Forever matte powder, the super matte powder. This doesn't say the shade, but I know that it comes in different shades, and you can see that I've been using it since I finished the other ones. Now this is the one that I want to just focus on and remove from my collection. I wouldn't repurchase it because it's so expensive when you do the price per gram, and the color doesn't match me quite as good as the Peach Perfect or as my Laura Mercier Translucent. So I just want to tackle this from my collection. It's a good powder, but it's just not something that I will repurchase. For highlighters, I have four. And the first one is Vanilla Quartz by Becca. And when I first got these, I got these Dreamsicle Parisian Nights or something like that, or Parisian Lights together. And this was the one that I used the least. Is the one that I'm wearing today mixed with another one that I'm going to show you, which is the Bobbi Brown Bronze Glow. And this was the first time they released Bronze Glow. Now it's permanent and it's broken. This formula is one of the best formulas of highlighter, and I forgot about it. So I want to use it more. So I mix these two together, and it's the glow that I have on my face today. They're so beautiful, so beautiful. They look almost wet on the skin, and now they have more shades of this formula. So if you're looking for an amazing highlighter formula, the Bobbi Brown Highlight Powder, the one that comes with this pattern, is the way to go. It's just so buttery. I'm gonna swatch it for you. You can see how this glows. It looks a little bit darker, but mixed with Vanilla Quartz, which is a lighter formula and a lighter color, it mixes perfectly. And Vanilla Quartz has a hint of pink, so it's something good for my project progress to just try and use. And then I also decided to put this one in because this is Becca, and this is my oldest Becca highlighter, and it has years now, and it's loved. The formula is still perfect. Is the one right here, and it's sort of a mixture between those two. It's just beautiful. You can see right here that this has gotten a lot of love throughout the years, but maybe if I finish it, I have a small one, I will just have the small one until I go through a few of my highlighters. But this is the best Becca highlighter in my opinion, with Dreamsicle and Champagne Pop. And then for a subtle glow, these I know I will not repurchase, but it's a beautiful highlighter. It's the Candlelight Highlighter by Kevyn Aucoin. I just wanna try and finish this year. It's this one right here on my pinky. It's a beautiful color. It's subtle, it's bridal. So maybe I will use it with my brides, but brides now, they want a glowing, blinding highlighter. So I'm gonna try and see if I can finish this product. It's beautiful, but it's just not something that I reach for. Those are my four highlighters for this month. For bronzer, I chose four. One is the number 7 bronzer, and this is in the shade Caramel. And this I've hit pan already. This is a beautiful matte bronzer. And I know that these I will finish this year because I've gone through so many bronzers that I don't have that many matte bronzers to go through for the year. And bronzer is the product that I think I use the most, or that I go through the quickest. So this is gonna be one that I will start to use this month. This time I did the right thing and put this in my project progress as well. This is my Project Pan bronzer, and this is a powder from Becca. This is the Multitasking Perfecting Powder in the shade Tan, and this I just wanna finish this year as well. I think this is discontinued because I can find it anywhere. It's a beautiful bronzer. I always wear it. It's the one that I've been wearing the most. Then for my cream bronzers, I decided to put this new product that I have. This is the NARS Cappadoce, and this was part of my panic purchase before my no buy. And it's just a multiple. It's the one bronzer that I'm wearing on my face today before applying powder bronzer on top. This was the one that I put with my foundation, and it's the one that you can see the most. It blends beautifully. Multiples are amazing. I have a few of them, and I didn't have any of the matte ones. And this color, it's a beautiful bronze color, and it's reddish. So it's one of those colors that your skin gets when you are truly on the sun for a long while. When you blend it, it looks sort of a bronzy but reddish tone. And then I also put this one in because I know I need to finish this year. If not, it will go bad. And this is more of a neutral light bronzer, and this is the Milk bronzer in the shade Baked, and it warms up beautifully with the finger. And this is the bronze color that we want to get after we get rid of the reddish shade in our skin. It's just so stunning. It's so neutral and beautiful. One highlighter that I forgot to mention, it's my What's Up highlighter by Benefit, and you can see this sample size, how it's looking. It's the highlighter that I've been using the most this year. I use it almost every day as a highlighter base. I am actually wearing it today underneath the powder highlighters, and you're gonna see how beautiful this is. And it catches light so beautifully. You can see it looks so natural and glowy, and I use this a lot for my cream foundation routine, and I'm gonna link that one below so that you can find it super quickly. And then last but not least, I chose blushes. They're all breaking. Like, my NARS blushes are just all breaking. This is New Attitude, and this is the type of pink. It's sort of a warm pink. You can't really see it in the pan, but it's a warmer type of pink when you blend it on your skin. You can see it right there. It's just beautiful. It's like the color of my lips right now. This is one of my most used NARS blushes. I've been forgetting about it because I don't have it in my Project Progress, and I haven't had it in my Project Progress, I think, ever. That's why I haven't been using it, but this is one of my favorite colors, and this was from the Final Cut collection, and those blushes, all of them were amazing. This is one of my top 5 NARS blushes, and it's Taj Mahal. This has Shattered, but I don't mind. It's just something that I adore. It's the blush that I'm wearing today on my cheeks. It's the most beautiful blush. Oh my goodness. This is a true orange blush with gold. The pigmentation is on fleek. You can use this on super dark skin and it will look beautiful. But you can use it on light skin like I'm wearing it today, and it blends out perfectly. Just leaves an orange tone to the cheeks, and I think it's just beautiful all year round. I wanted to have something super nude, and I pulled out NARS Silent Nude, and this is definitely a nude blush. You can see it right here. Yeah, I have it right there, but it doesn't really show up. I know on my cheeks it shows up because it has been loved. The formula of this particular NARS blush, it's different. It's more powdery than the rest of them, and this collection was beautiful. It was a neon nudes collection. I don't think it will show up on every skin tone, but if you have it, pull it back out, play with it. I have this one that's new that was sent to me by Benefit Colombia. This is Gold Rush, and I put it on the apples of my cheeks after I applied Taj Mahal. It gave me sort of a glowy look, but the scent of it, oh my goodness, is so good. It's like a powdery, baby powder perfumey scent. And I want to play with it more because they sent it to me, and I love trying new blushes. Blushes are my favorite makeup product. And then these used to be Holy Grail. This is the second one that I've gotten. So these, I finished one almost completely and then it broke because it's so soft. This is Illamasqua Katie powder blush. So yeah, so it's sort of the tip of my nails type of pink. It's so beautiful. It's more on the cool tone side. This swatch is super powdery and light, but on the cheeks, it blends beautifully. And look at it here. And I haven't used it in a while, so I really wanted to pull it back out. These blushes, what I like from them is that each one of them is completely different from the other. And I will give you my review and thoughts if I want to keep them all at the end of this project progress. But I think most of the products that I chose for this Project Progress for this month, I actually love them. I'm dreaming about using them already. I wore a ton of them on my face already today, and I enjoyed it so much. And I love the fresh start of a Shop My Stash or a Project Progress month because you feel so creative and so into your makeup that it's sort of a happy place. That's it for this video, guys. Let me know what you chose for your own Shop Your Stash or Makeup Monthly basket, whatever you do. Let me know in the comments below. I'm happy that you're supporting my videos. I'm happy to be back from my trip because I always miss YouTube and I always end up missing you guys and chatting with you on the comments. So if you have anything to say, let me know in the comments below. I always answer. Don't forget to subscribe, and I guess I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.